What's going on, my friends? This video is for those of you who are called millennials. And this is the top 5 reasons why millennials are struggling financially in today's world. And we're going to talk about how you can get through these struggles and get back to absolute prosperity and live the life that the boomers have lived in terms of financial prosperity in your life. So if you want to get your money right and you're a millennial, get ready. Let's get going. All right, my friends. So if you're a millennial, that is defined as individuals born between the early 1980s and the mid 1990s. And these good folks, these millennials, are facing financial challenges for a lot of reasons. We're going to break down and unpack the top 5 reasons why millennials are struggling and also provide solutions that millennials can take to start kicking ass and getting back on track financially, and maybe even starting a side hustle, becoming a business owner, etc., etc. So, number 1, why millennials are struggling, many of them financially, is student loan debts. Right? Many millennials pursued higher education, which often comes with a financial burden of student loan debt, high tuition costs. I mean, it's crazy, guys. The cost of college has gone up like 1,200% in the last, 30, 40 years. And yet other things like, real estate and cars, incomes have gone up like 200%. But just for whatever reason, colleges think that they should increase their prices by 1,200%. And ask yourself, has the outcome for college graduates improved by 1,200%? Well, no, it has not. And for the most part, incomes across this country of the past 30 or 40 years have gone up very, incrementally. They have not gone up significantly. And so these colleges are not justified. If you want to talk about biggest scams in the world and the country, there's no doubt about it. The cost of college is right up there at the top because the outcomes that college graduates are hoping they receive are not matching up with reality. All right, the second reason why millennials have struggled is for economic factors, and I just kind of spoke a little bit about that, right? Millennials entered the job market during a time of economic uncertainty with that global financial crisis of 2008, and that resulted in a more competitive job market and reduced wage growth, especially if you didn't have a lot of experience. And so that is another reason, just kind of the economic craziness of the last 15 years with a pandemic, with, the worst financial depression since the Great Depression of 1930s certainly hasn't helped a lot of millennials. Number 3. Housing costs. For most Americans, the number one way that they build wealth is by buying and owning a house, paying it off, and that property goes up in value, and that's usually the most valuable asset that they have. And so the problem is many millennials have not been able to buy housing costs because in urban areas, housing costs have risen significantly, making it almost impossible for many millennials and Gen Zers to be able to afford home ownership. Renting is often the only viable option, and then rental costs make it really hard for you to save money. Another reason, the 4th reason why millennials have struggled financially, there is a changing job landscape. The job market has evolved rapidly in recent years with the rise of automation and the gig economy. Many millennials are even worried about AI taking their jobs, and so they're facing a more predictable, and very non-traditional job landscape. And also there's a lot of freelance work, there's a lot of temporary contracts, and so employees are moving around, and these factors have led to irregular income streams and a lack of employment benefits such as health insurance and retirement plans. But my friends, the very top reason, probably the most impactful reason why many millennials are not succeeding at the rate that boomers did is financial literacy. Unfortunately, in our school system, ask yourself, did you learn a lot about credit? Did you learn a lot about money? Did you learn a lot about finances and investment? And that, my friends, is right at the top of the list. These millennials grew up without comprehensive financial education, and they lack the knowledge and skills needed to effectively manage their finances. And so without proper guidance, they have struggled, many of them, with budgeting, with saving. Let's talk about the things that millennials can do to get their money right. Well, first off, if you're not using a budgeting software, something to manage all your accounts in one place like a myfigures.com, you should. because when you can get into details, your odds of success go up and you actually know what's happening with your money. You might even find out that your net worth is negative. You actually owe more than what you actually have in assets. That's not good. We want to build that net worth and have assets that are worth more than our liabilities. And so you talk about rental properties. You talk about having an investment account, maybe something like Betterment or SoFi.com, where you can set up your own, investment account that follows the S&P 500. You start looking at, creative financing to buy rental properties. And as you start to grow these things, you can improve your net worth and start to get your money right. If you're not having a weekly money date to go through all of your bills, all of your income, and see if you're winning the money game, that's part of it. You should do a weekly money date. You should be finding out where you stand. And then at the end of the day, there's only so many ways to stretch the eagle out of that damn quarter, right? If you really want to get your money right, you have to make more money. Your job is not going to cut it. It's not going to be enough. At some point, you either need to have a job where you can be an entrepreneur and build something within a business, maybe a startup, maybe a small business where there's flexibility with the entrepreneur, with the owner, where you can create a program that you can get a piece of and grow and build that under the business. So if you don't have that kind of opportunity and you're kind of bumping your head on the ceiling, there's no room for growth or commissions to grow your income within your company, then you have to get a side hustle. You have to build to start some business. And the cool thing is with the internet, you can do it 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, on the weekends, on nights, when you have time at your lunch break, and you can build a real additional income. And then you take that money and you don't just save it, you invest it. You invest it in real estate, you invest it in markets, you invest it in other businesses, and you grow and you earn more, and then you destroy your debts, not by paying them off, but by making so much in additional income that eventually you can pay it off, and eventually you can grow your net worth and get your money right and have that freedom, that life. But it's going to take some delayed gratification. Those are the keys to get your money right and overcome the 5 obstacles keeping millennials' finances not where they need to be. So if you know a millennial out there, share this video with them. If you got kids who are millennials, share this video with them. Let's get money right in America. Go to myfigures.com. If you haven't, set up your account there. And if you haven't looked at becoming a business owner, getting a side hustle going, it's time to do that.